Hello, and thank you for joining us today for the webinar, Preparing Higher Ed Students for Future Careers in Times of Uncertainty. Before we get started, please allow me to cover a few notes. Attendee microphones and videos will be disabled during this webinar. If you have questions for our, if you have questions you would like to ask to our panelists, please enter them in the Q&A tool and in the chat, and we will answer them as they come up. Please note that all our registrants will receive a link to the recording of this webinar within 24 hours. We want to thank our sponsor, CYPHER Learning, for the generous support of today's webinar. It is my pleasure to introduce one of the panelists for today's webinar, Jenelyn Padernal, Global edtech Director at CYPHER Learning. And with that, Jen, over to you.
Hello, everyone. I hope that, well, I cannot see my stuff there. Hold on a minute. Can you see me? Well,
Not yet.
all right. But you can hear me, right?
Yes, we
That's the
can.
most
All yours.
important thing. You can hear me. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today in this webinar called Preparing Higher Ed Students for Future Careers in Times of Uncertainty. So this is very close to my heart as a topic because I'm an educator. I also teach in a university in the Philippines. That's kind of like one of the things that I used to do in my past life. But now I'm currently the global edtech director of CYPHER Learning. And what I do is I train teachers, I train students on how they can use different digital tools for teaching and learning. And today's webinar is actually a very good way for us to discuss how we can prepare our students for the future. Now, we have higher ed students, and the next step in their career is to find a job, right? And our goal as educator actually is, the ultimate goal for me as educator is to make sure that my students are prepared for the job. That's kind of like and their career. That's one of my ultimate goal. That's the reason why they go to school. They want to have a better, brighter future or to have a better, brighter career. So today we're very fortunate to have like really, amazing speakers, which whom I will introduce later on. But let me just give you a quick glimpse of the future part of the workforce. And these are our students today. The new generation workforce, they're part of our future workforce, the millennials and the Gen Z. They are the reasons why we're teaching. They're the reasons why we're doing what we're doing in the university and even in training organizations. So they are the ultimate reason of our being as an educator, right? I think you're still not seeing me, but I'm all smiles here. So this is kind of like, sometimes the technology is it's not cooperating with us, but if you can hear from my voice, I'm smiling. Even if it's 12 midnight where I am, by the way, one of our guests and I are from the Philippines, and it's 12:04, not midnight anymore. It's 12 in the morning for me and one of our speakers. So the new generation workforce, who are they, right? These are the students that we have in our university at the moment. These are the students who are taking training so that they can get a better career in the future. These are learners who are very agile. They want to get things done fast, like fast. They're very mobile. They're the ones who use a lot of devices and they're learning on the go. They're moving. They want to have access to education and content materials anytime, anywhere. These are also students who are very adaptable, very tech savvy, and they always have purpose in mind when they do things. They believe so much in diversity and inclusivity. They're very realistic with their goals and they can work independently and at the same time work with a team. So that's kind of like one of the many characteristics of the new generation workforce. And this is what we need. These are the minds and the people that we need to prepare for the future job. We need to prepare them for this. This is what's happening in the industry now. And I think I'm one of those who have experienced the best of both worlds. I came from the university as a teacher, and now I'm working in Cypher Learning, one of the best organization that provides an intelligent learning platform that helps the students um, develop their skills that will help them have a really good career in the future. One of the things that's being done in the industry now is hybrid training, hybrid learning, continuous training, remote training, personalized training. These are the trends. These are the trends in the industry now, and these are the things these are the things that are waiting for our future part of the workforce, for our future workforce generation. So the thing that we need to do now is think about how do we prepare them for the future? How do we prepare them for their careers? What are the things that we need to do, or what are the preparations that we need to do for that? And for today, we're very fortunate to have amazing guest panelists. We have Marisha Pennington. She's the lead instructor at the YWCA in Washington, D.C. Oh, wow. She holds a BS a Bachelor of Science in math and an MA in school and community counseling. When I saw math, I'm kind of like, I got a little bit nervous. Math is not really kind of like my thing, but I'm happy that Marisha is here. So she has a 7 year experience, 7 years experience already with YWCA. So she teaches math and basic computer skills to adult learners so that they're more prepared to enter the workforce. I think I'd like to take that training. And then another amazing panelist that we have today is a former colleague of mine in the university. He's from the Philippines, Roland Ruben. He's a training and support supervisor at De La Salle University, but he's also a professor of philosophy. He has a master's degree in philosophy. He teaches art appreciation and foreign languages as well, French. And he's also currently the training and support supervisor at the Center for Innovative Learning Programs in De La Salle University. So this is an office that provides training and support to the faculty members and students who are using one of Cypher Learning's intelligent learning platform, which is NeoLMS. So now what I would like to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to turn the floor over to Marisha so that she can share with us a little bit something about her organization and what she does. Over to you, Marisha. Would you
All
like to
right.
lead tonight?
Yeah.
Hello there.
Oh, and thank you so much for this opportunity to share about the YWCA. Many people do not know the various programs that we have for students. We are not higher ed, as you all have been talking about. We are a training center. And let me go through. Okay, and so our mission at the YWCA is to eliminate racism, empower women, and to promote the, excuse me a second, this is getting in my way. Okay, all right, and to empower women and to promote justice and freedom and dignity for all. Our bold goal is to ensure that a majority of women and girls across the national capital area have the resources and support necessary to achieve personal, professional, and educational success. So our population are mainly those, majority of them are women who have not been in the workforce. For whatever reason, they have not completed their education, or their education is very minimal. Like they've had maybe 1 or 2 years of college, something like that. So they come to our organization to earn those entry-level certificates or certifications so that they can become employed and have the skills to participate in the workforce. They have also been on welfare programs, food stamps, all of that. And so they're coming to the Y with little to no education and receiving training for those entry-level certifications. And so we have 3 areas of focus: youth mentoring and development. We have staff that go into the high schools and begin to mentor them, and so that they will apply for college, they will finish their education, and they have a lot of barriers. So this youth development program is extremely important to us. And then we have advocacy and racial justice. And then last but not least is where I work, is the career education and training component. So at the Career Education and Training Center, the learners get the skills needed for today and credentials to build their future. At the YWCA, we want them to succeed, to get these certifications, get to work, and build on this foundation. And some of them do elect to go to college, but a lot of them need to enter the workforce. They have children, they've been out of work for years, housing is very difficult. We have a lot of barriers, but we work through it. And I'd just like to take 5 minutes. This video is 5 minutes and give you a taste of who our population is.
Yeah, fear is something that stops us from doing a lot of things. And I constantly lived in fear of not having my GED because I was working and I always thought, what if they find out? What if they find out? It's been something that I've wanted since I was in my 20s, since I dropped out of school early. I wanted to do something different with my life, but fear always just stopped me from pursuing it. When I was in high school, my senior year, I had a child. Unfortunately, I had to stop because back then they didn't have daycare. I didn't have anyone to take care of my child. So I had to get out and get a job and get my own place and take care of my daughter. I had to live with it and make it work. And during that process, I had 3 more children, but my focus was them. So I worked for them. I made sure they went to school, did their homework. So that's all I've known is put everybody first, take care of everybody, and my needs and wants go in the back burner. And I was like, it's time for me. I just Googled one day, adult education, and the YWCA was the first one I saw. And I was excited. I was like, yes, I'm going to do this. And it's right down the street. I can get here. The first time I walked in, I was so happy. I looked at the colors, the classrooms, and I was very excited. I was just so excited. When I first walked in the door, I was terrified. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to happen. But from the moment you walked in the door with the receptionist, there's a smile. It feels like home. It doesn't feel like a classroom. It doesn't feel like strangers. It feels like you go and visit family and they know your name. How far I went, but I'm right there below. So there were moments in this program where I say, I can't do this. I'm too old. I can't learn. I can't remember this stuff. I'm tired.
I was still scared. I still had doubts. There were times that I didn't go to class because I didn't think I could do it. It's when you have a teacher that truly cares and doing whatever they can to help you. And those are the teachers at the Wise. They want to make sure that you understand the word, that you're getting what you need so you can graduate. I was tired of working and not getting the pay I deserve. And then I went out there and I fought hard for what I wanted. So I'm going to take that test. And I took fear with me to that test and I failed that test. And I was so disappointed. I was so hurt. But my teachers, they were like, no, it's okay. Now you know what you gotta study. Now you can just study a little bit harder. And I was disappointed and I was mad, but I said, I'm not going to give up. I said, Jack, you're not going to give up. And I studied hard and I went and took that test again and I failed it for the second time. And by then, I was needing a lot of tissue by then. I was heartbroken and I was like, what? I don't know what else to do. And so the teachers said, just keep doing what you're doing and just don't give up, Jackie. Just you're there. Just don't give up. So they got a tutor for me. I didn't miss any work. I made sure I did it all. And then the third time, I took some new friends with me to take that test. I took courage and I took hope and I took determination with me. And I left fear at home and I passed that test. And I think the whole place heard me shout when I got that score. I was so happy and I've been on a high ever since. You only have to wait 15 minutes to get the results from your test, the score. But this time, the last one took them 45 minutes. I was stressing. So I'm on the train. I keep hitting refresh on my email, wait for it to come out. So when it finally come up, I'm scared to open it. I was terrified to open it, but I did. And the email said, congratulations, you got your GED. Then do what you say, just see, but you see. My cheeks still hurt from the graduation. I am so proud of myself to know I did this for me and to get something that I wanted all my life. I'm over the moon excited. I'm still proud. The why means hope, life. It's like they gave me purpose. It's everything. I'm so happy that I took that journey.
And this is who our population is. Every day we come across stories like this. And our classes are open to all DC residents free of charge, 18 and up.
I love this place.
And so we offer career services and workforce development, digital literacy, distance learning, hospitality, administrative support, and GED support. In addition to that, we have also have a partnership with another agency where we give the academic part of the nurse's assistant, CNA, those type of things as well. So they get their credentials in that area. We also offer a variety of support services such as case management, career counseling, one-on-one virtual tutoring, and we pay for their transportation. So at the Y, our learners will be able to expand their job opportunities through our day, evening, and distance learning options. And that is the Y.
Oh, Marisha, thank you very much for sharing that with us. That's very powerful.
Yes, I love
Very,
working
very,
there.
very powerful. I'm so touched because when I was teaching in the university, I was also a volunteer teacher.
Mhm.
To those who are to the working students who wants to finish their education and just do better in their lives. So I've been a volunteer teacher for 9 years in that university. We call it the
Okay,
free evening program.
okay.
In that university, most of my students are either working as a security guard or working in fast food or working as a nanny. So that's why I'm very touched with that video. And thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes.
So thank you, Marisha. Now we give the floor over to Roland, one of my colleagues in the university, so he can share with us what they're doing with the amazing things that they're also doing in the university. Roland, over to you.
Okay, good evening. Allow me to share my screen. Okay, so I'm Roland Lorenzo Ruben. I'm the Training and Support Supervisor from the Center for Innovative Learning Programs of De La Salle University Dasmariñas. So this is the school where I work, and Jen also worked before. So De La Salle University Dasmariñas, also referred to by its acronym DLSUD or La Salle Dasma. This is a private Roman Catholic Lasallian co-educational secondary and higher education institution run by the De La Salle brothers in Dasmariñas, Philippines. It is also a member of De La Salle Philippines, a network of 16 Lasallian educational institutions. So we are located in the province of Cavite, south of Manila, the capital city of the Philippines. So our school composed of around 9 to 10,000 students. So
I'm sorry, Roland, we cannot hear you.
We Roland, we lost your audio. Okay, I think we lost Roland's audio, but just to continue with um, Roland, are you there? Can you hear us? We cannot hear your audio, Roland. Do you want to fix it? I'm not sure either. So basically, what Roland is sharing with us is the background about De La Salle University. So De La Salle University, as he mentioned, is a Catholic university in the Philippines with over 15,000 students. And I think what he's showing here is this is the latest award that's been given to the university, one of the biggest impact award in Asia, which is it's because of their um, participation and initiative in the Microsoft community. So De La Salle is also a Microsoft Showcase school in the Philippines. So there are just a few schools in the Philippines that's been awarded as a Microsoft Showcase school. So one of the things that De La Salle also is doing in the Philippines is, as I mentioned earlier, they cater to kind of like similar as with what Marisha has shared with us. They also have learners who are working students, who are students who wanted to finish school, but they're not able to do so because of, some of the constraints financially. And the school is catering to that. So one of the many things that they're doing is we're training them so that they're much more prepared for the future of work. But you know what happened in the last 2 years that we have experience an extraordinary phenomenon. I always call it an extraordinary phenomenon. The pandemic that happened last year, everything has been affected. All of those things that we're doing in the area of education has been impacted by that extraordinary phenomenon. And I think, Marisha, um, it's also something that has impacted your organization, right? When the pandemic happened, did you ever like stop training? What are, I'm curious about, knowing what measures you've done, or how huge was the impact of what happened in the last 2 years in your training organization?
Yes, in fact, it was a pro and a con. The pro is we've always had a distance learning component.
Oh, that's
Because,
nice.
yeah,
Very nice.
because our students have young children and, they're just not able to attend daytime classes. So from that perspective, it was not such a headache. The other side of that was everybody was home, including the children. And so when the students came to class, we often had their children. And so we had to come up with ways to engage the children as well.
Oh,
If they
that's nice.
yeah, if
I mean,
they
like,
did
the
not
the
have
the
their
children
own,
became part of your class.
yes, they did, through a program we call IXL. I don't know if you've heard it, but it gives math problems, language arts, and it has other components to it as well. And so the parent can sit there and just do problems, and the children are engaged in helping their parents solve the
Wow.
problem. So
Wow.
yeah, that was the only problem.
You know what? For me, it's also bittersweet what happened in the last 2 years. Because, like what I've said in the beginning, our goal is really to prepare our students. And we got so used to being with them inside the classroom. And once we're not there, it feels like teaching is not, it's not complete, right?
Right.
But
Mhm.
but I'm also a technology enthusiast, and I always believe that with the advent of technology, we can best prepare our students as well, right? But why did I say it's bittersweet? Not only that I am a technologist, but I'm also an advocate of a disaster-proof education.
Mhm.
One
Right.
of the things that I really want to do is to make sure that even we're not inside a classroom, that our students are continuously learning so that they can be best prepared for the future. It's sweet in the manner that a lot of schools and universities and training organizations have opened their eyes and started embracing the use of technology in education, or the integration of technology in education. It's bitter because it has to take a pandemic for us to realize that. But for you, it's kind of like the same, right?
Right.
But the sweet part is you're not only teaching the parents, but you're also teaching the learners. You're kind
Yeah.
of like preparing them super early for their future work.
Yes.
Now, let me see if Roland can already hear us, or we can hear him. Say hi, Roland.
Yeah, I can hear
Now
you.
we
Can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. Great to hear your voice, Roland.
I,
So I
I,
hope that
I had a problem with my earphone.
it's okay. It's okay.
So I
Sometimes
took
it
it off.
happens. You know what they say. If it's green, it's environment. If it's not working, it's technology. I'm just kidding. I love technology. So Roland, we just went ahead and started with a little bit of a conversation of how the last 2 years has impacted the training organization and the universities as well. Would you be able to share with us, or would you be kind enough to share with us how huge was the impact of the pandemic to the university and to your students?
Yeah, it had a huge impact on our school. So our operations were disrupted. Our teachers, students, and employees had to adapt to remote work. And we had to learn how to use technology in the shortest time possible. We had to rush things. So we conducted webinars every day, 2 hours a day. Teachers attend those webinars while teaching, well, trying to teach with technology. And then work with CILP was very, very difficult. We also, on our part, we had to learn also the video conference tool like the Microsoft Teams. And then we had to adjust our processes, our policies. We have to change them. We had to develop new ways to teach and learn. And then there was also this fear of layoffs that we will no
Yeah.
longer be able to teach because we have low
Mhm.
enrollees. So we were very anxious with the enrollment. We were really praying that students will still enroll despite the pandemic. And
Mhm.
we had to assure each other that we are all in this together, and by working together we'll be successful. Those were really difficult times, but in the end we were able to recover. And now we're beginning to move forward in the positive direction.
And that's part of the uncertainties, right? Those are the things that
Yes.
we did not expect that will happen. And I'm sure that students are also, they've also faced that uncertainties of like, what's going to happen to us? Will we still
Yes.
be able to finish school? Is there still a future for us? Because no one knows when it's gonna stop, right? No one knows when things are gonna get better. Now we're adapting. We started teaching remotely. We started working remotely, and working remotely now, or working hybrid even. It's kind of like what we also need to prepare our students for. This is the kind of workplace that's waiting for them. But uncertainties are still there, and I think that one of the things that um, the past has taught us is to always be prepared and expect the unexpected. Is that kind of like the same realization that you had in your university, Roland?
Yes. We we have to embrace technology now, and there were some of us who were not into technology. They call themselves, they're not techie, and they don't like to use technology in education. In teaching, they prefer doing lectures and doing activities inside the classroom. But now, when we rushed our trainings, uh, we're happy that they were able to adapt and to embrace technology. Now they love it. There are some teachers who prefer teaching fully online. Now that we are told to come back to school, and from fully online to blended, there were some who wanted to stay at home. They learned how to love it, how to conduct teaching online. They can even do collaborative works while teaching
Oh, that's
online. So
amazing.
yeah,
That's
the
amazing.
impossible things that we thought that we will not be able to do online, we found out that we can do it, in
It
spite of the
became
challenges.
possible, right? I think that's the
Yes.
same experience, Marisha, you had in your training school. The impossible became possible. They started working remotely. Is that the same kind of like realization you had? Like, yeah, we need to adapt to the new ways of teaching and learning or training.
Yes, it definitely, definitely. But it was not as tedious as we thought it would be. We had to adjust as
Yeah.
far as putting all of our classwork in the learning management system we had at that time. And we had to
Hmm.
make it more accessible for the students to be able to turn it in. So those are some of the things that, we were confronted with. But
And I
overall,
think,
yes.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Marisha.
And overall, it was really not that bad. Our students really adapted, and they adapted quickly, and they enjoyed it. Mhm.
And I think that's when we develop different best practices when it comes to adapting to the new ways of delivering training or classes to make sure that our learners are prepared. By any chance, would you be able to share with us some of the best practices probably that you've developed or came to adapt to during the this time of uncertainties?
I think
Yeah.
for us, we use the whiteboard on Zoom a lot. That was very, very helpful. And we also allowed the students to work at their own time, even though we had specific time for classes, they would show up for class. But if
Mhm.
they had little ones at home, we would allow them to work independently and we would track their hours from there. So I think having the flexibility for our students that they could learn when it was comfortable for them to learn, that was a huge one for us. Allowing them with, with the kids being home, just allowing them to do their work at a convenient time for them. And some of them were up at 11 o'clock. They put the kids to bed and they went on the system and completed their work.
Are they
So,
submitting their assessments in Matrix as well, or accessing their course content in Matrix?
well, the learning management system we had when we first entered the pandemic was not Matrix. But now, boy,
Interesting.
now that we have Matrix, yes, a lot better. A lot better. Yes. Basic
That's good to know. And that's good to know, Marisha, that
is
this
very easy.
platform, yeah, very
Mhm.
easy to use. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
Thank you, Marisha, for sharing that. Rolo, what about in the university? What were the best practices that the
Yeah.
university developed probably during this time, or even before that? If you can share that with us, please.
Yeah, during the pandemic, one is we have to consider the teacher and the learner. So we have to take into account the learner's skills and knowledge and then their technical abilities. Even if we know that students mostly they're used to the technology, there's still some students who are not really that technical, with in terms of using the LMS, and also the technology they have access to. So not everyone has the same devices, not everyone has
Yeah.
the same internet connection. And the one thing that we were able to institutionalize during the pandemic, we introduced a self-care week. Self-care
Ah,
week is
that's
a
interesting.
rest week for everyone.
Including the
A
students, right? Yeah.
The students and the teachers, no lessons, no classes. You can do whatever you like. You can go sleep the whole week or watch a movie marathon, anything, just a week off from school activities. Kasi we acknowledge that the pandemic gave us some mental stress and some anxieties, and then the workload also doubled. So we had the self-care week. This is the first time that we did it in the university, and it's 4 times in the semester.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we
I, I
love
I
it.
wish I wish the workplace is also gonna be doing that they will have. So in the workplace we call it shutdown, right? That we would have
Yeah,
like four four shutdown in 6 months. But I think that some of the industry, business organizations have also that kind of practice. They probably don't call it self-care or wellness week or wellness day,
wellness week.
but
Yeah,
yeah, it's what we're hearing. So that's also kind of like preparing our learners and trainees for Marisha in that kind of setting in the workplace, right? Because that's gonna be, you know, what they will be facing. And not only that, there are a lot of skills coming out. There are a lot of requirements. There are a lot of things that they need to learn and develop when they go to the workplace. And talking about skills, I'd like we would love to know from both Roland and Marisha, in your perspective or based in your experience. We've shared these experiences in the past few minutes. What do you think are or will be the most valuable skills now this year or in the coming years that a training organization like Marisha's or the universities like with Roland's must prepare our students for or their students for? Would probably start with Marisha first.
Yeah.
In
Okay.
our organization,
Marisha first.
uh-huh,
Mhm.
in our organization, the students seem to want the digital literacy
Mm.
classes.
Mhm. Mhm.
We offer 1 through North Star, which helps them with basic computer skills. And then we offer the GS6IC3 course. I don't know if you've heard it, but those are global certifications. So we have level
Mm.
1, 2, and 3. And there they not only get into the applications like Microsoft Word and Google Docs and PowerPoint, but they also get to learn some of the components of the computer, like the motherboard and, bringing all of that together and what an infrastructure is and what a network is. And so we're bringing all of that together and giving them that knowledge. And so usually with that track, they go into administrative support. So, we're training them. They do help desk, they do reception areas, administrative, executive assistants, things like that.
So it's
So I
digital
think,
literacy skills, right? That's
yes.
that's kind of like one of the many things that companies are actually looking for now. You get to apply for a job and you look at the job description or requirements, it would say, or the job qualification or requirements for you to get a job would say basic computer skills or computer knowledge or knowledge in spread use of spreadsheet or Excel or PowerPoint, so digital literacy skills, right?
Mhm.
Along with probably other skills. So Roland, in your perspective, with your experience in the past, what do you think would be those skills that we need to prepare or develop among our students that they can use in the future?
Yeah. Before the pandemic, when we talk about technology or IT or computer skills, we usually look at it as a one subject, and it's not integrated into all the subjects. But during the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
everyone found out that we cannot really escape technical skills. We need it, and our students need it, and they will need it in the workforce. So technical skills like data analysis and coding. We had a coding activity with my students in our logic class,
Oh wow.
and the students are not computer students, computer science
Mm-hmm,
students.
mm-hmm.
They are international development students. I teach logic, a philosophy course, but we did coding because I see the need for this skill for them. And also together with the technical skills and integrated in all the subjects, soft skills like communication. Now we found out with our synchronous classes, and we are also able to connect with other schools.
Oh nice.
For example, in my class, I teach French. We were able to connect with a school in France. So our students are able to talk with the native speakers. So you have to develop that skill, communication, creativity in their presentations, critical thinking, very important, teamwork. And so we were afraid that with online learning, with remote learning, we won't be able to do activities that will promote collaboration, teamwork, etc. But then we found out that we can do it. Even if we will do it remotely during asynchronous or even during asynchronous times, we can do collaboration work. So, and together, problem solving skills, one should have it. And also if he or she is able to work with a team so that together they can solve problems. And also the skill, I would like to include integrity. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yes.
one of the challenges during remote learning. Are the students really submitting their work, or they're just getting it from somewhere else, or someone is doing it for them? So I think this one, integrity, is very important. We should teach them how to be truthful, how to be honest in their work. And of course, digital flexibility. There you go.
Wow. Thank you, Marisha and Roland, for sharing those skills that we think we really need to prepare or develop among our students so that they are more prepared for their work. Very interesting when Roland mentioned as well that, you know, you're teaching logic or a philosophy subject, but then again, you had to teach them coding because in this modern day and age, you don't need to be a computer science graduate to do coding. My 13-year-old niece can kind of like do coding as well, young kids, you know. So these are kind of like the skills, as well as what Marisha mentioned, that we need to continuously developing among our students, among our learners. And I think the technology, you know, a learning management system with a powerful skills development feature can really help us with that. And what I can share with everybody, Cypher Learning now has launched a feature in our platform that's called skills development. I'm not sure. I think Roland, you've also experienced that, and Marisha. Do you think that this kind of feature, having a skills development feature within a learning management system, can help you as educators and as trainers help your students be more prepared for their future career? Maybe we can start with Roland first and then Marisha.
Okay. The skills development. This feature in Neo LMS, we have example the learning outcomes, the competencies. We have there the mastery, and then you can automate things within Neo LMS. For our students, the mastery, where they can track their progress and they can also track the results of their outputs, is very important. You know, and for the teachers part, when they see the mastery results, that would also tell them how to, how to guide the students who need more guidance, and how to incentivize the students who are doing a great job even without guidance from the teacher. There are some students who are like that they just do things on their own. And the mastery progress really helps us a lot. For me personally, it helped me a lot. And then the competencies feature, it helps us see or also measure the learning of our students, because we connect it with the learning outcomes of the course. So we actually have a research on that, and Jen, we will share it with you later, later on. That the grades of the students connected with the learning outcomes, we were able to view that in Neo LMS, and we were really very happy that the use of the platform helped our students achieve good grades and achieve the learning outcomes. So
Wow.
thank you for these
Wow.
features.
Wow. Thank you. What about in your organization, Marisha? The
Yes.
skills development feature, how do you think it's gonna help prepare your students for their future job?
Well, I think being able to, like as Roland has already mentioned, look at the material and then be able to see, from the competencies, what they've accomplished. And that's very important for our organization, that students be able to track their own success. And I think from the immediate feedback, and they're able to look at it and see where they need more support. And we have a lot of partnerships with businesses in our area. And they
Oh,
come
that's
to our
good.
organization and give us what they need. And so we're able to match that in the Skills Development Center so that the students are able to meet the demands of the company. And so, as Roland said, soft skills are very important for our learners. We have a soft skills class, so they need to, know how to be professional, know how to dress, various things like that. So I do find it very helpful for the competencies there. And it also helps me to know what is expected in those areas. So yeah, it's very helpful.
Wow. And knowing what your students' strengths and weaknesses are will help you develop an early intervention for them
Right.
so that you get to help them catch up and move up. I also like what you mentioned that you have a lot of business partners in the area. They're
Yes.
telling you what they need so that
Yes.
you can prepare the learners for that particular expertise or skills that they're looking for. And I think that's very important. You
Mhm.
know, the alignment between the industry, the academic, and the training organization, it has they need to work together.
Exactly.
It's kind of like, hey, business enterprise, tell us what you need so that we can prepare our learners for that. That's very
Exactly.
important. In the
Mhm.
university as well, you can develop or further enhance your curriculum based on what's needed in the industry so that
Yes.
you're assured that when your students graduate either from the university or for the training organization, there's a place for them in the
Mhm.
industry because you know what the industry needs. And that's how you prepare the students for their future career. Thank
Yes.
you for mentioning that, Marisha. Um, we have a question here. I know we still have a few minutes left, but I think we have a question from one of our audience. Um, and this has something to do with what Roland mentioned about integrity. The question is, how can you teach integrity besides a lecture or reading? What ideas do you have for projects, assignments for students to develop these skills? I think that's a pretty good question.
Wow. Okay. First, we started with ourselves. Like we should show them that we trust them. We don't think that they'll be cheating or doing something else. We have to show them that we trust them. And then instead of objective types of assessments like true or false or essays or multiple choice, you know, think of activities that will encourage them to create something. We have all the information in the internet. They can get it from left, right, but the challenge is to encourage them to create something that they will be proud of and incentivize. One is to give them constant encouragement. Never doubt their work. If they submit a work, talk about their work and encourage them to do more. And that's what I found out in my classes. I stopped giving objective tests. The objective test, I give them as formative assessments, and I give unlimited attempts. I want them to focus not on the score, but on the mastery. And then if they are able to master the facts or the data, then they will be able to create something. And it all starts with trust.
That's a good
Trust
that's a
yourself,
good advice.
trust each other.
Yeah, that's a good advice, Roland. I wish we have more time because this is like a really, really good discussion, but we only have a few minutes left. Probably I'd give Marisha a couple of minutes to what advice can you give to those who are here and those who are taking trainings right now on how they can best prepare for their future career.
Yes, I say that it is holistic for our organization. We need case management help as far as well as the academic support. And those skills coming together, the students will be more successful in their job. So we try to help our students pick a career, not just to look for a job. And that's done through our soft skills class, where we give everything is in the context of the workforce. And to see how, and even for our hospitality courses, we have a room set up with a mock desk area, housekeeping area, all of that, where the students will go and they get checked off for the skills that they demonstrate according to, you know, the competencies for hospitality. So I think just working with them, ours takes a lot of patience because they're coming from a different background. And some of them do elect to go to college. So we help them fill out the forms. We've been on college tours, various things like that. But I do think the most important skills are those soft skills. Our students really need that. In addition to the entry-level certifications like hospitality, certified nursing assistant. We even do a food handlers. And of course, the digital literacy piece. All of those coming together along with housing and how to help your children. Various things like that. So we take a holistic approach.
Wow.
And that's what we
Wow.
do. Yeah.
That's amazing, Marisha. Well, I really hope that we have more time because this is really a really good discussion. But hopefully, in the future, we can have Roland and Marisha back for a part two of this conversation. But I'd like to thank both of you for joining us today, for sharing your insights, for sharing your expertise to the audience that we have today. And I really hope, we hope that this has been very helpful to everybody. At this point, I will turn the floor over to Michael. I think Michael has a poll for all of us today.
Correct. But while I'm speaking, you're welcome to answer the poll, please. But on this note, I would like to thank our panelists, Jan, Roland, and Mauricia for this wonderful presentation. And thank you to our attendees, our participants for joining us for this webinar. So this will conclude our session. Like I said, please answer the poll. You can just to do so you can just click directly on the radle button, either yes or no. And other than that, have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'm sure it's midnight for Roland and Jan. Have a good night and enjoy your weekend as well. Until the next time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank
Thank
you,
you. Bye.
everybody. Have a great
Bye.
weekend.